Have you ever had an item that just won't stay sold?
Yes.
It gets returned, causes issues, and just seems to be jinxed. Well, we've got one to share in this video and wonder, do jinxed eBay items really exist?
It's a boomerang item.
In today's video, we'll go over what sold January 26th through February 1st. Plus, we'll share the frustrating story of an item that keeps coming back no matter what we do. We'll dive into what happened, share our struggles, and find out if there really is such a thing as a jinxed eBay item. Let's dive into it. Okay, so the first thing that we sold was a pair of Nike Air Max Bella women's athletic running shoes. These were Nina's, and they sold for $24. Next up was a Poshmark sale. This was a lot of 2 Hasbro Sesame Street Friends, Cookie Monster and Oscar the Grouch little figurines. We got these out of a thrift store toy bag for 37 cents. They sold for $7 plus shipping on Poshmark.
Yeah, not a high profit sale.
No. Next up was one of those PGA Tour solar block crew neck shirts that we got doing retail arbitrage. This one we paid $4.05 for, and it sold for $27.09. We're finally selling through those.
Yeah, those stay. We've had those for like 3 years, and then all of a sudden they're finally selling.
It's weird. Next up was a vintage Newsweek magazine. This one was had Princess Diana on the cover, and we got that at an estate sale for $1. It sold for $11.99. Next up was a Shikini purple bikini. This was new with tags. We got it from the Via Trading box, and it sold for $15.88.
Those have been trickling out lately.
They have been. Next up was a Coach handbag. This one was a beige hobo style handbag. We got that at a garage sale for $3.75, and it sold for $40.
I never understand why a hobo would want a designer bag.
Well, you know, hobos, they have fashion too.
I'm going to hop this train.
Yeah. And then you're going to give Blue Steel. All right. Next up was a Harvard. This is weird. We sold one of these in last week's What Sold video. We had 2 of these and they both sold.
It's the exact same.
It's so weird.
Just a magazine.
Like, we've had these for a while and then they just both randomly sold. So this was another paperback, publication from Harvard Business Review, and this was gifted to us, and it sold for $19.99, and the other one that we had sold last week. Okay, next up was the Thornbirds, The Missing Years on DVD. This was also gifted to us, and it sold for $12.99.
Richard Chamberlain?
Is that Chamberlain?
Chamberlain?
Or is it Chamberlain?
No, I think it's Chamberlain.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. I remember that guy.
Next up was 2 pair of blue and green elastic athletic shoelaces. They were new in the package. These came out of those Facebook Marketplace mystery boxes that we got. And, all things considered, we did that for fun, just for entertainment to see what would come in those.
It was just for video purposes. We didn't intend to make a profit.
Yeah, but, we really didn't do so bad on those, all things considered.
We at least broke even on most of them.
Yeah. So anyway, if you haven't checked out those videos, I'll link them in that video. I'll link it in the description box below. But this was obviously a sale where we did not net a profit because this item we had paid $6.88 for.
And in no world would we have paid $6.88 for some shoelace things.
And they only sold for $7.98. So we technically lost money on this particular item. But we made money on a lot of other things.
We made money on some of the other ones, surprisingly. And even with that high cost of goods.
I know. Yeah, it's crazy. So anyway, it was still fun to see what came in those boxes. All right, next up was a vintage 1987 Mattel Barbie Sweet Roses sleeper sofa cushion mattress and 2 pillows. They did have some staining, which is why it says read in the title. These came out of the Barbie bag and they sold for $11. Next was 146 Dragon Ball Z trading cards. We found all of these in the Goodwill bins for $1.09.
Fort Worth bins.
Yep. They sold for $35.
You know, we just sold that giant lot of Dragon Ball Zs. It's just random cards. There wasn't anything great in there as far as I know. And we made 20-something bucks on them, and we recently did the same with the Pokemon lot. Just random cards. Just if you see a bunch of cards of the same thing, just grab them and lot them together and sell them.
Yeah.
Unless they're all
we don't know anything about this kind of card.
No.
Yeah.
This is not these cards are not our specialty. I know Magic cards and sports cards.
Yeah.
This is not my jam, but it makes money and they sell pretty quickly.
They do. Next up was a 2018 Mattel made-to-move articulated jointed Barbie. It was an African-American doll. She had dark skin. Those jointed... She
had no top on.
She had a wild night. The jointed Barbies tend to sell well sometimes, so look them up if you find a jointed Barbie.
It looked almost new, other than the top.
It was in really good condition.
It looked almost brand new. It was in such good shape.
It was in such good shape.
You got that one at the Fort Worth bins also.
We did, yeah. Two back-to-back items from the Fort Worth bins. So we paid $1.09 for that, and it sold for $34.99.
I mean, the profit from those two items paid for that whole bins trip.
It did.
Just those two.
All right, next up was an item that I had picked up with the intention to possibly keep for myself, but then it didn't end up working out. So this was a vintage Tupperware Easy Crisp Jade Light Green Celery Keeper, and I thought that maybe I could use it for its purpose, but it was really big and it didn't fit in my fridge. So I'd gotten that in an estate sale for $2 and it ended up not working out for me, so it ended up selling for $17.18. So we didn't make a lot on that.
We doubled our money.
I didn't intend on picking it up for resale.
But we never intended to sell it, and I had to make a box for it because it was really long and weird shaped.
Yeah. Okay, next up was a 1990 NFL Pro Set football card for the player Brad Edelman, and that was Kevin's. It sold for $2.59.
It was a nice set.
Next up was a 1995 Magic the Gathering Ice Age rulebook. And this was also Kevin's, and it sold for $6.99.
That was a really nice, for real, that was a nice set.
Next up was a 1995 Super Slam Premier Edition This Is My Life, Cal Ripken Jr. This was like a little framed kind of thing, wasn't it?
I can't even remember what it is.
Like little collectible.
Oh no! It was like a 5x7 like card, but it had like a cardboard frame around it. Yeah.
Okay.
I bought that. I used to collect. The reason we sell so many Cal Ripken cards, I used to collect Cal Ripken cards in college, and these are just remnants.
Yeah. So that was his, and it sold for $9.65.
Yes, it's a nice set. Although it wasn't really a set, it was a thing.
Next up was a lot of 4 fidget toys. I use the keyword ADHD. These were like, twist spinners and little things that you could, mess with. And we got these in like a thrift store toy bag. This is extra stuff. I would not recommend
the baby toys from last week. It's the same thing. I didn't pick up the toy bag for this. This was just in the toy bag.
This was just a bonus item, and we just
and we don't like to throw things away. So we lot them together and we sell them.
So we paid 26 cents in total for all of these, and they sold for $12.99. Next up was a vintage Dallas Cowboys digital scoreboard style alarm clock. And it showed the time, date, and the temperature. It worked, but it had some scratching and wear on it. We found this in the Fort Worth Goodwill bins for $4.56.
And I almost put that thing back.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, I'll go ahead and get it. And then I showed it to her and she comped it. It's like, no, you need to get it.
It sold for $59.99.
Because it was pretty scratched.
Yeah, it was really scratched.
Didn't matter.
I think in good condition, it would maybe sell for closer to $75.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for that one.
Next up was a Diane von Furstenberg, which is...
Diane von Furstenberg.
Yeah, she is like...
Like Bertram Van Munster off The Amazing Race producer.
She married like a prince or something, so she's like a princess or something like that. A duchess
Diane
or something.
Von Furstenberg.
I don't know if it's princess, but she has some kind of like royal title.
The first?
Anyway,
Duchess?
This was something like that.
Duchess Furstenberg?
Ooh,
that sounds exotic.
It's something fancy. So anyway, this was a 100% wool wrap dress. but it says flaws in the title because it had a lot of moth damage. But Diane von Furstenberg's stuff, wrap dresses is her, like, that's what she's known for. They will sell for a lot. And anything that's 100% wool, I mean, we have sold lots of cashmere. You can sell like merino wool stuff that has moth damage in lots just for the fabric. People will buy it for crafting and upcycling. But I just decided to go ahead and list this, even though it had the moth damage in it, and just list it for really low.
Because it's a designer.
Because it's a designer item, and somebody might just buy it to, people will take places where they've had moth holes and they'll like do embroidery over it and do all kinds of like craft stuff. People are very crafty. So we took a very high-end designer dress and sold it for very cheap with the flaws. So we got this out of the Goodwill bins, the Dallas Goodwill bins, for 90 cents. And it ended up selling for $38.99.
Can't believe we made $25 off of a
But be very, very
moth
clear.
hole
I know.
Skirt.
You got to be really clear. You got to have it in the title. You got to have it in
take pictures of it, mention it, put it in the title.
Yeah.
Cover yourself.
Cover yourself for sure. Okay, so next up was a 1994 Marvel Masterpieces card for the character Cyclops. This was Kevin's. It sold for $2.29, and it was
that was a very nice set.
Next up was 4 1993-94 Upper Deck basketball cards for the players Manute Bol, and I guess 2 Manute Bol cards and 2 Sam Bowie. Bowie or Bowie?
I don't know if his is Bowie or Bowie. I always assume Bowie unless otherwise told. Unless it's David. I don't know why they bought 2 of each of those.
Maybe they were looking for the best one to get it graded or something.
I don't know. But yeah, it was a nice set.
So anyway, those sold for $8.60. Next up was a 2013 Disney collectible trading pen. It was Sorcerer Mickey with Maze. I bought this off of Whatnot, actually from Harry Tornado, back when I was it was kind of when Whatnot was newer to me at least, and I was trying to understand like how the buying process of Whatnot worked. And so I purchased this from his show, trying to understand the buying process.
Not because we wanted a Disney pen.
Not because we wanted a Disney pen. I was just trying to understand how the buying process worked. And so I went to his show and bought this pen. So I didn't buy it really to make money. I bought it to figure out how Whatnot worked. So we paid $13 for that, ended up selling it for $14.99. Lost a little bit of money, but gained an education on Whatnot. Yeah. Next up was a Zephyr NHL Snapback Buffalo Sabres 100% wool baseball cap. Is that a minor league team?
Buffalo Sabres is hockey, I believe.
A hockey team.
Oh, it's NHL. Yeah, it's hockey.
Oh, I didn't even see that it said that. Maybe I said it out loud and didn't even realize it. We got that at a garage sale for $1, and it sold for $45.
I got 3 or 4 really good hats at that sale.
Yeah, you did.
I just based it on what kind of hats they were and what quality they were.
Yeah, and if they're kind of like obscure, they'll usually
because I don't see many, especially not in Texas, you don't see many Buffalo Sabres hats. But it was vintage, it was made in Korea, and it was 100% wool. Yeah. That's really why I bought it. Yeah. And the logo was cool.
Next up was a Microsoft Encarta 96 Encyclopedia CD-ROM for PC Windows. And we got this at a garage sale for $1, and it sold for $12.99. I mean, I'm surprised that
kind of
that
bread
would
and
sell,
butter.
but,
I'm surprised people buy them, but they do.
People buy old software all the time. Next up was a vintage Belique was the brand. It was really cute. It was a stackable creamer and sugar bowl, and it was
it's pretty.
I guess it was porcelain, but it was really thin.
It was dainty.
Very dainty. It was cute.
We got good feedback.
And it was made in Ireland. This was gifted to us, and it sold for $23. Next up was a pair of Levi's 505 men's jeans. We got these at a garage sale for $2, and they sold for $26.99.
Men's jeans sell. So, like, we have so many women's jeans, and we just did inventory, and we still have a ton of women's jeans.
We got rid of a lot,
We got rid of a lot, and we have a ton. Yeah. The men's jeans section is really getting small. We have like 5 maybe.
Yeah, men's jeans sell really well.
They sell all the time. Yeah. Men's pants, men's jeans.
Next up was a 2004 Disguise Scary Horror Latex Half-Face Halloween Mask of Skull and Devil Horns. We got this at a garage sale for $1 and it sold for $20 on Poshmark.
We always pick up latex masks.
Yeah, especially if they're vintage. Next up was a vintage lot of 34 hair clips by Lady Ellen. These were for pin curls, and it included the curl papers. The clips were very rusted, so I included that right in the title. These were gifted to us. We had no cost on them, and they sold for $9.68. Next up was a Tascam TIAC. I guess that's how you say that.
I don't know.
This was a some kind of music studio kind of equipment, and it was an owner's manual only.
Yeah.
We had no cost on this, and it sold for $19.98.
We've been selling a lot of music owners manuals lately.
Yeah, because we got a lot. Next up is the item that was jinxed. This is a pair of men's size 13 caramel brown leather lace-up classic Oxfords by the brand Aldo. And I don't know if they were missized or what, but we sold them a long, long time ago. We got these at a garage sale for $4.
And they're really nice shoes.
Very nice.
Really nice
Very
shoes.
Nice. And the guy had obviously worn them because you could just tell that they were worn, but they weren't overworn or anything. So it's so strange. So we sold them the first time a long time ago. They got returned. The person said, "These don't fit right," is the way it was described. And,
Some shoes run different.
People
sizes,
say that
smaller,
all the time.
bigger. Yeah.
And some people, you never know. So we just relisted them, and they didn't sell for a long time, maybe like a year and a half. They sold again. We got them back, and that person again said, "These do not fit like a US 13.
I don't think we've gotten them back, have we?
Well, that's right. We haven't gotten them back, but the person opened a return.
They opened a return, and I haven't seen them yet.
Yeah, and in the return it said, "These do not fit like
Maybe
a
he'll
US
forget
13.
to send them back.
So I told him, I was like, this is one of those jinxed items. There's something wrong with them.
They must run really small.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. Or they're really narrow. Like something about them just isn't
Something's
sitting on
wrong.
these people's feet properly.
Yeah. And at this point, if we could relist them, but we're not going to.
If we do get them back.
That's two people that have said they didn't fit
we do get them back, they're getting donated.
Oh, for sure.
They're just.
Yeah, we would lose money.
Well, we had, it's like the Sugar Train. If you're an OG and you've watched for a long time, the Sugar Train.
The Sugar Train.
I shipped that thing out 3 times, and then finally it came back, and I was like, no. Yeah. And so we parted it out and did it that way, and we've sold some of the parts.
Yeah.
We still haven't made our money back on that disaster.
The Sugar Train,
but
I don't know. That truly was a jinxed item.
That one was the biggest cursed item we've ever had.
Yeah.
These, we're not letting it go past 2.
No.
Second time, it's out. From now on, I think that's our rule. If it comes back twice, it's gone.
Yeah.
Unless it's made of gold or something. We're not something very valuable. Maybe we keep, but no.
Yeah. The other item that I would say was jinxed was that card that we sent through the authentication guarantee with eBay that they said was sticky.
I don't think the card, the magic, it's a beta magic card. It's a very valuable magic card, even in bad shape. I don't think it was jinxed. The thing is, we sent it to get graded. For some reason, they said it was sticky on the back, which
it's not sticky.
It wasn't.
We
got it
back,
and it's not sticky. It was my card. I know it's not
I'll
sticky.
link that video down below.
And we sent it back again later, and they sent it to the exact same grading place.
And we had complained about
we
that
said,
grader.
please don't send it back to the
complaint.
Yeah. And so, of course, they got it back and did the same thing and sent it back. If it was the same guy, of course he did. He recognized it and was like, oh, screw these guys. And so he sent it back. So we're going to eventually get that card graded instead.
By our own independent.
By Beckett.
Yeah.
And then they'll put it in a slab, and then it'll be in a slab. It'll be what it is, and they won't be able to take it apart and grade it.
Yeah.
Because I don't trust their graders anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know who that guy was, but I got a knuckle sandwich for you, buddy.
So anyway, that's our history with jinxed items. We've had other items, but these shoes, they're going to be hitting the road.
And they were really nice shoes.
They were.
And the guy we bought them from was a super nice guy.
Yeah, he was.
I remember that sale, and it's been 2 years. He was just a super nice guy. He was like, you want these shoes.
Yeah, I know.
He was really pushing it hard.
He was a good salesman.
He was a good salesman.
Yeah. So anyway, let us know in the comments below. Have you ever had any jinxed items? What were they? How did you handle it? Do you think jinxed items are real? Do you think they really exist? All right, next up was an item that sold to a viewer. So Richard, thank you so much for supporting our channel. We really appreciate you.
You buy greeting cards from us all the time.
Yes, you do. Thank you. This was a Dayspring lot of 60 Little Inspirations Christmas religious greeting cards. We got these from a garage sale where everything was free, and we sold these to Richard for $29.99. So thank you so much for your support of our channel. All right, next up was a 2002 Berkeley design 16-inch rainbow tie-dye plush croaking frog. And we got this at a garage sale for 50 cents. It sold for $24.99. And we got the nicest feedback on that item.
That's the kind of feedback that I live for. Like, that's my best kind of feedback.
Yeah.
They'd been looking for it since they were a little kid. They had one. They were so happy that they got it and that they found it. And
yeah.
Where else are you going to find that other than like eBay?
That's exactly why we sell stuff.
I mean, it makes people, we get a little bit of money. They get really happy. Doesn't go in the ground.
Exactly.
It's all good. It's all good.
That's why we do it.
You're trying to connect people with stuff. If you're doing this just to make money, first off, shame on you. No, but if you're doing it just to make money, you're going to miss out on some of the joy of it.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, I mean, money is important.
Yeah.
I like money.
Yeah.
Money is important, but, it just helps to have a little other reasoning, like to keeping things out of landfills.
Yeah.
And getting it to somebody, like if we hadn't found that at that place and sent it to that person across the country, they would have never found it. And, we made their day.
That's true.
They were very happy.
They were very happy. All right. So next up was a vintage 1994 lot of 4 Peanuts Snoopy board books. Kevin got these at a garage sale where he got lots of Peanuts board books and several other
It was
Peanuts
where I got all the
collectibles.
porcelain trinket boxes.
Yes.
Same sale.
He paid $1 for these and they sold for $13.
And remember a couple weeks ago, we sold a box of like 60 Peanuts books. Same box of books that I bought. We just had it split out into 2 things. So this, we made $3, but on the other one, we made like 40, 50 bucks.
Something like that. Next up was a men's Nike t-shirt in 4XL. This was a maroon one. When we bought it, it was new with tags, but it had a little spot on it, so we decided to wash it. The spot did not come out, sadly. But it was still in excellent condition. It was like one of those kind of very small little grease spots. Yeah. So it was extremely mild. We paid $2 for that and it sold for $22.49.
We're still good on it.
Next up was a lot of 31 artsy scratch and design and sticker craft kits, plus some new and packaged dolphin crayons.
Oh my goodness. We picked those up like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Like so long ago at the bins.
We got all of those at the bins. We paid in total $7.37 for those. Finally, after all this time, we lotted all of them together when we were doing inventory this year and sold them for $37.37.
We finally got rid of them.
Yeah.
We got our original $7 back and 14 more. I will take it.
Yeah.
But the space it took up, probably not a good purchase.
No, definitely not a good purchase. Another item we were really glad to get rid of was a lot of 12 Andy Griffith Show VHS tapes. They were all new and sealed except for one.
Yeah.
We got those at the thrift store for $3.
And that's my fault.
And they sold for $34.98, but they took a little while to sell and took up a lot of space.
We made good profit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 3 into 17. That's really good. And it's VHS.
Yeah.
And I bought them just because they were mostly new and because they were all the same thing. And I knew I could lot them together and we could sell them. But don't think those lots are going to sell quickly.
Yeah.
You're going to sit on those for a long time.
And the amount
like a
of space.
Bird hatching an egg. You're going to be sitting there for a long time.
Yeah.
And then finally, I hatched Andy Griffith.
And $17.
And $17.
Next up was a vintage 1980 to 81 lot of 3 Sesame Street Club books. These we got at a garage sale for 75 cents and they sold for $13 plus shipping on Poshmark. And last up was a 1991 Topps baseball card for the player Bo Jackson. That was Kevin's, and it sold for $2.29. And now that we're done with all of the what solds, let's go over the totals. The total number of sales for this week was 38.
It's a little low.
It is. And the average sale price was also a little low at $21.13. The sales totaled $802.92.
It's definitely low.
And the net profit was low at $402.61.
Yeah, considering how few things we sold, and it was like the week after we got back from our trip and everything. That's pretty good. I'll take it.
We were still doing inventory too.
Oh, we just finished inventory a few days ago.
Yeah.
So the sales are going to be pretty low until that's all taken care of.
But we have cleaned out a lot of space. We've cleaned out a lot of space. We've gotten rid of a lot of old inventory.
We donated like 3 bags worth of stuff and 3 or 4 boxes worth of stuff. We just took it out and donated it.
But we've gotten rid of a lot of old inventory, not only through taking it out of our inventory, but also through selling old inventory.
Yeah, as we relisted it, some things started selling, trickling out.
So it's totally been worth it to do the inventory.
Oh, and we found several.
We did find several mistakes this year.
Several mistakes.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how that happened, but we found a lot.
It's because we've been doing more cross-listing. And if you guys are interested in cross-listing, cross-listing does make it possible to have accidents happen on, you're moving your stuff from one platform to another and selling stuff on one platform, then you have to delist stuff. So that's why I think you're more prone to having accidents, and it's more important to do inventory every year. But you are going to get more sales because you're exposing your items to a larger audience. So cross-listing is definitely worth it. We use List Perfectly cross-list, and it is excellent. We love it. It is a fantastic platform, and moreover, the people who run List Perfectly are wonderful. They are always there to support resellers, and they have just the best customer service. So if you guys are interested in trying out List Perfectly, we have a link in the description box below, and you can get 30% off of your subscription with List Perfectly with our coupon code Nina's Jewels. So we highly recommend List Perfectly. You guys can go check it out. They have lots of different subscription levels and lots of different features for all of the different levels. All right, so make sure that you hit that subscribe button. It's free to you to subscribe, and it'll just keep you guys informed of what our content is, and we would really appreciate it. It's the best way to support our channel. So hit that subscribe button, comment below, hit share, do all of the things, and we will catch you guys on the flip side.